Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing today? At some point you have to make the decision to just get up, dust yourself off and move on in your life. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you find this podcast, this moment of mindfulness, this moment of meditation, reflection. This is the shopkeeper, the naturalwellnessshop.com, where we want you to be naturally well the way nature intended. And I was thinking about a few things today, thinking about divorce and thinking about loss and thinking about grief and thinking about the stages of loss or the stages of death. And that we go through, I think, stages of grief and loss in life a lot of times, whether we realize it or not. And it's important to make sure that we allow ourselves to experience and go through loss, and then learn, we have to learn how to deal with those things. And at some point, get up and just dust ourselves off, move on, and decide to enjoy what we have, and enjoy what's been the time and the things and the moments that's been given to us, and enjoy the present of the present, and just try to be as happy as you can wherever you may find yourself. And just understand that life is a part of loss, is a part of life, So just wanted to come on and encourage you, inspire you, hopefully place a nugget of a pearl of positivity in your sandal as you go along your journey, to just remember and place back, just remember and keep at the forefront of your heart, your mind, and your being, that loss is a part of life. We all have to deal with it. We all go through it at various times and moments. And as long as you have the breath of life flowing through your body, then you're strong enough, you're able enough, you're empowered enough to eventually come out on the other side. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Just like again, one of the things that's really gotten me going this way is that just looking at some of the metrics across our culture, across society, looking at the negative emotions people are feeling, like anxiety, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness, looking at some of these things, and then looking at other things like people dealing with depression and suicide and extended chronic grief. These are things that we have to learn how to deal with and get through in our life if we want to have a more enjoyable and abundant life. So just thinking about the 5 stages of death, like, like denial, or the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And it's important that we go through these stages and really appreciate them for what they are, and try to get to acceptance as quick as possible, I would say. But I know that's going to be a different pace and rate for different people. It's just going to be different. Hold on for 1 second. I got an alarm going off, and it's really, really, really getting on my nerves. So let me get to it real quick. This is what happens when you do. Okay, it stopped. This is what happens when you do live streams. It happens sometimes. But again, just going back to grief and loss and going through denial. Denial being that sometimes, denial consisting of avoidance and confusion and elation and shock and fear. And then, you'll find yourself going into anger, meaning that you're frustrated and irritated, maybe even anxious or unresolute about the whole thing as far as accepting what's been lost, what you're grieving over. And then you'll go into bargaining, struggling to find meaning, reaching out to others and telling one story, trying to tell a narrative. And then you may even find yourself depressed, meaning you're overwhelmed and feeling helpless, and hostility, and maybe even flight. Maybe you even want to try to escape what's happened in some way. And then finally, you'll find yourself accepting, where you explore options and you'll find a new plan in place, and you just get up and you move on, and you architect and you design a future based on the new reality that you find yourself in. And, like again, I mentioned my divorce, and I was just thinking about that one thing that was really sticking out in my mind as far as something majorly lost that I found myself having to get through, is that I did go through those stages, and just getting to acceptance and finally just accepting it, getting up and experiencing gratitude. It really empowered me to just move on and realize that, life didn't end, buddy. Things happen to all of us. Things fall apart sometimes. Things don't work out. This is the way it is. As long as you got the breath of life in your body, then you can make the decision at some point to move on and enjoy and be happy, full of joy and satisfaction and contentment with your life and with the rest of your life. You realize that you'll come to the realization that when one door closes, another one opens. When one chapter ends, another one begins. And that's the joy of life. The ups, the peaks, and the valleys. 4 ways that I kind of just segmented things off when it came to dealing with grief. 4 areas that I kind of focused on was my heart, my mind and my thought life, my beliefs about it. And then I looked at, I made sure one of the things I did was stay physically active and kept myself in shape. And then also I made sure that I kept my purpose and my reason for being in sight, in line, and kept my spiritual connection intact by praying and by having conversations with the Creator, with the Most High. And these things can really help as far as keeping you in a state of holistic peace during your grieving process, versus just falling completely apart and staying in a negative feedback loop, a negative loop. So just wanted to, again, just talk about this for a minute. Didn't want to hold you long. Just wanted to put some encouraging, inspiring words out there. Just hit like, share, leave a comment, follow, let me know that you're out there. So just wanted to come on, talk about, loss. We're all going to go through these things, the grieving process, and then just realizing that, hey, you can move on. There is life after loss. And all you have to do is just give yourself time, deny, anger, bargain, depressed, and then accept. And then get up, dust yourself off, and move on. and continue on with your journey. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. Definitely appreciate you. Peace and blessings.